Welcome back again to the episode where we get to talk to the man them called Chakwaz. To be honest, I don't even know your name, bro.
Really?
What's your name?
Chakwaz is my name.
His name is Chakwaz.
Yes.
Spelled C-H.
C-H-A-K-W-A-Z.
Okay. Chakwaz in company.
My name is Kuda Chakwaz of Chkwaz&Co. I'm a visual artist, curator, designer, collector. Yeah, and I guess a child of God.
Yeah, child of God.
Yeah.
So, flashback, right?
Cool.
Always seen you in the streets, always seen you in these spaces. They obviously drawn to you because we are from the same uni,
Yes.
right? Which is Chino University, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm like, yo, he's family, you know, and you're in touch with my guys, right? So I'm like, yeah, that's my dog.
Yes, sir.
But then I'm like, yeah, he's in school, but what's he all about, right? So I'm trying to figure you out.
Right.
And you imagine it, the thing is, my first encounter with the work was already on a grand scale. I'm like, who's this nigga now? Why is he that? And I'm like, this dude is pulling this off. So it was an exhibition by Lynn Barry.
Alright.
It was called what again?
But each was a while back.
Yeah.
2023, I guess.
Yeah.
It was offerings, but
Offering, right? And as a sneakerhead, I couldn't help but just marvel at the way you curated the whole event, right? And the type of work that was in there. But there was this one artwork for me, this piece where you had Nike, the God of Speed, right? And as a sneakerhead, I'm like, yo, I'm a Nike baby, you know? And if I had money, I would have copped that item. And here's a black gentleman, an African gentleman, you know, curating for a Mulu. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know, just having that whole vibe being put on your shoulder and curating for such an artist, how was that for you?
I would say like they made the work pretty easy because I mean they had the work and they had the stories that could tell, right? And all I had to do was just link the stories, and that's pretty much curating where you kind of have like different stories and different pieces. You try to put them together to make one coherent piece, right?
Okay.
Because how I look at an exhibition, it's like just one artwork. And the different artworks are like kind of like the different brushstrokes or like different elements of that.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at an exhibition. Right? So everything just has to like work together, balance. So like
And then everything is
it's all
comes together as one.
Yes.
Yeah. But that was a banger, man.
Thank you.
For me, I was like,
Thank you.
and by that time, I didn't know you were an alumni for the Ziva.
Yes.
Ziva, institution right there.
Yeah.
So now when I got to know that, I'm like, obviously, bro, that's why he's on steroids. You know what I mean? That's why he's on steroids. But for as long as I've known you, you've always been an Adidas head, right? I know plenty Adidas heads, but they're like probably a money changer, then an Adidas head, and then it's just like that. But you're an artist, a curator, you in the streets. Yourself, you're an artwork because you can check the tats on the boy, bro. Like he's tatted, right? And then you're in Adidas head and more. You know, I look at your statuses, WhatsApp statuses each morning. I remember the other day I was like, yo, bro, you're crazy. I thought one of our friends is crazy, but the way you the way you even like caption the whole item, like yo, this gentleman is intriguing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how's been that journey for you being in Adidas head, and how did it start?
I've loved Adidas for as long as I can remember. If I can remember well, back in high school, I played football, right? So my first pair of actual cleats was the 2010 Predators, the ones Chav used to wear. Those, and I kind of just fell in love with that. You know, they've got this simple silhouette, and they go straight to the point, and the emphasis on comfort, and just design, aesthetics, right? I mean, Nike does have this whole experimental thing. Puma has this whole classic look, but I like Adidas because it's like right in the middle. It's like an Audi as opposed to like Mercedes and BMW, right? Where they're like right in the middle of like, right? That's my idea of like Adidas, right? And also just I don't know, they've got this. 3 is a special number, right? And you see the 3 stripes. It's easy to just balance it out. In art, there's this thing called rule of thirds. It works in photography when you do composition. So it's just dividing things into 3. This rule of odds, 3 counts that. And like I can go on and on about 3. My favorite number is 9, and the square root of that is 3, right? So
It's crazy because when you're talking, I'm like, my next question is going to be like, yo, so how does these spiritual, why is Adidas, like what you say, Adidas more inclined to people who are in this spiritual kind of bag? AKA chakra niggas or rasta niggas, you know what I mean? Niggas, people that are in touch with their, with that side of their life. Like, and then you just explained it to that, that the 3 stripes and that whole, and then you came with the science, but the rule of thirds. You actually answered me right there because I was going to ask you, like, why is this thing with, especially rasta heads, like?
Okay. So firstly, so the Rastas believe in like God, right? So God is like the 3 of them. So like it's Father, the Son, and Spirit. So that's 3 already, right? And then there's that notion of the 3 colors, red, yellow, and green. It's easy to like translate, those colors into Adidas, right? And even like the way, like I said, like that simplicity. If you look at Rastafarians, they're more about like simple life, not much complication, not but still, the essence of something, right? Which Adidas still carries, because you could have a Will's Bonner and a Samba. They have the same silhouette and it's different things, but like there's that essence of this is just a simple shoe that was comfortable. So I think it's just a matter of like its essence.
And you talking about like you playing football in school. Rather, here they prefer since we were under the British. the Americans would rather us call it soccer, right? So you are a Boraman in school, Boraman. So now that you still play, right? Social soccer, Mabosa. You drink.
Yes, I do. Where's the drink?
So you're one of those genuine who will be playing, and then you go to touchline,
halftime,
Buttercoat, and then that's the whole thing. But you'll still keep it like fit. So how does that now translate? Because it's also like staying fit, stay in touch with something that you love. How does that translate now into the everyday sneaker rotation?
Right. Okay, so I'll start off by my fanatic, of the Samba. Right? So Sambas are your indoor soccer shoes, right? So that's turf or like the court, football. You play as 5-a-side, when I actually saw them at first, they were like advertised as just the soccer boots, right?
Yeah.
But when I got them, it was the comfort, right? And you being able, because I'm always like on the move, looking for stuff. Because I'm a photographer and painter. I'm looking for locations. I'm looking for studio space. I'm looking for paints. So there's that. Okay, I just want to do it in and not around. It looks, when you see an Adidas, right, like a Samba, it doesn't look too flamboyant, but it also looks like, okay, this person is straight, like he's on about the business, right? At the same time, it's like an easy wear and an easy clean. It's an easy, you can easily maintain, most of the Samba shoes, or even like most of the shoes that I collect from Adidas, they're like really easy to just, put together. Even combinations. I've got several pairs of Sambas, and I use all of them differently. I've got a pair that I use for 5-a-side. I've got a pair that I use now where I'm meeting up with gents. I've got a pair that I use like when I'm going into town here and forth. I've got a pair that I go for exhibitions. So it's that multi-versatility, right? Of it being either a sports shoe or a lifestyle shoe. I like that because it kind of speaks into my character of not being stuck into one box, being able to jump in between.
Which is important. Now you just gave me like some nuggets where you can be, let's say you're a gentry in the afternoon. You know how they have soccer items gentry. You can easily, you're looking fly, but you be like, I want to play ball. You can just like play ball in an instant and never worry about, I'm gonna scuff my shoes or what. And then you don't even have to worry about smart shit. So you guys, if you don't want to see me that often, right, you can buy yourself Sambas sometimes, you know what I mean? But then, of course, that's a whole dynamic. But I would like to ask, is that the only model that you have, or you also rock other silhouettes?
Other silhouettes. So I recently got some Stan Smith, but not the usual white ones. There's this one. It looks like a lifestyle sneaker, to be honest. It really just looks like I'm dressing up. I've got those. I've got quite a bit of everydays. It's just it's like a skating shoe, but it's not really a skating shoe, but it's a walking.
The fat ones like the canvas.
They look they actually look like canvases. Then these other canvas ones, I've got their names. I've got Special. I also collect Special. But Special is the Samba for handball.
Didn't know that.
Special is for handball. And then I'm getting into campus. I'm getting into gazelles. I'm looking to get Continental. I've loved these meters. I just haven't found. Whenever I find a meter, it's either it's not the right size, or it's not the color I want. So it's that. And then obviously there's some shoes I would want to get from Adidas.
But it's mostly
Adidas.
Okay.
But I do collect other sneakers like Converse, Puma.
I wish I was in Adidas head, but this ghetto YouTube salad thing, I always been heavy on, of course in hip hop, Adidas, Missy Elliott's, the Run DMC's, but in our generation now, post Michael Jordan, it was always Jordan Brand, Nike, and all that shit, man. Now, the story of the day is the sneakers that we have on set right now.
Right. Those Bonner.
Yes. So instead, we've got the world's Bonner, the Bonner of worlds, like you want to call it, right? And then we have an artwork. That's yours again. And these two now were in exchange between you and a certain gentleman who was within our circle. It was in good terms, it's a fair deal. Though being two different mediums of art, because when we look at clothes, we don't see them as clothes, they are pieces to us, because they're an extension of your being, right? So I'm like, for you, it's a fair trade. You saw it fit as an artist to put in all those hours and give the next gentleman the artwork and your signature and your artistic world. And then because you love the samba silhouette and the Will's Bonner collaboration. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's his everyday shoe. It's not something these are sneakerheads that wear their sneakers. They're not sneakerheads that do the whole buy one and stock one. These are pretty like worn and beat up. It looks like they're worn every day. And these items, these joints, I wanted them first from that particular gentleman. It was like, no, I'm not selling them. I'm looking for someone who's going to exchange, who's going to trade with me, right? And it's a whole facet where in Zimbabwe, people don't believe that those things exist. That's like the highest level of business, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just involving things that we see on a daily basis. The story behind this sneaker is like it was released in 2021, right? And then it was released going for 180. But right now on the market, you can fetch an easy 400 to 500 bucks for this, right? In some instances, even 1,000. It just depends. And in some instances, even in artwork. you get what I mean? So I'm like, the story behind it is when my first encounter with these sneakers is, okay, let's just say his name is Jax. Jax on the ground. Check him out. Jax on the gram was like, I saw this shoe with Peds and I was like, shit, I need it, but then I was like, nah, it's not really, it's my size and whatnot. And then he had to walk from Peds and getting into town. And then he called this lady a collector, right? An art collector. Her name is Liz, right? And then they were talking and he mentioned that he mentioned the Will's Bonner summer. And then Liz was like,
go and take it expeditiously.
Go and fetch that thing expeditiously, like right now. That's how he got these items. And that's good for you. But you can tell by the leather on the sneaker, it's got a luxury feel. You can see this whole like grainy type thing, even the tongue. You know what I mean? So now tell me, we know the big story. So how did you gents now link up and say, yo, we're doing this deal?
Alright, so
these are mega deals.
Geez, the first time I saw Will's Bonner, right?
Yeah.
I also didn't know Will's Bonner was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I just bumped into it on the net. I'm like, okay, well, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then I think not more than a month after, I see Jax wearing these. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
What you saying? Because like he's big on thrift exchange.
Yeah.
Then like I'm not selling these. At that time he was not selling them. He's like,
Yeah.
Then early this year, I see these at like one of the thrift stores.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, like you said, he's not selling them.
Yeah.
I'm like, but me, I'm about these items. Like, okay, since I know you are big on Adidas, I'll do a deal for you, right? And then you mentioned the price. And then, I was like, okay, cool. Around that time, I had an exhibition that I just opened, and there were some collectors that were actually buying some pieces.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just wait for that money. Then we do the jet, right?
Yeah.
Then the jet took longer than expected.
Yeah.
Then I don't know how in conversation we're like, no, but you always wanted a piece, right?
Yeah.
And I already have these shoes. Would you consider that we do an exchange instead of sneakers and painting?
Yeah.
Like done. Then he showed me the piece from like my first exhibition at Pikicha, Kuda Chakwaz. It's a painting of two gents sit at a table, and there's another gent coming in. It's just kind of like a bar setting, right?
Yeah.
Then there's another piece where it's just two gentlemen at it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do that, right? Initially, I'd asked for one, but since I'd made this guy wait and he was so patient, I was like, nah, you know what? And since I was giving him prints, right? right? I was like, okay, I wouldn't mind giving this dude these 2 prints, and then I'll just sign them, and then that shit was sealed. Right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, fast forward, he's happy, I'm happy. I've got my sneakers. He's got some artwork that he likes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean I feel like that's what the essence of collecting is, right? Because how I look at money is just access to things that we want, not the actual physical green check.
Yeah.
Because we can't eat money, we can't wear money, right? So like if I were to get whatever, so part of like my thing of collecting, right? I don't collect with just everyone, right? I collect with like people that I'm really close with, right? Like Jack's did, where he's like, I'm not gonna sell this to just anyone, right? I could do a deal with you smart shit because like we are linked like that.
Yeah.
Someone from Switzerland could come and like, yo, I've got this Hublot and I want artwork.
Yeah.
I will probably think twice
Yeah.
more than I would just be like, okay, smart just wants some artwork, he wants sneakers, and right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that green circle on Instagram stories where it's like close friends,
Friends,
So yeah, I collect. So it's sneakers that I collect. I collect watches. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Like, if it's clothes, it has to be like one of those special. There's this Goya Damai from this one gentleman.
He's trying to finish me.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of
the artworks. So this is one of the artworks that
artworks
to the
that helps like facilitate the whole deal. You know what I mean? It's one of those artworks, right? Now, this leads me to like basically just of course, if they want to indulge with you, like they can hit you up on your socials, right? So because of time, let's talk about something that I've always wanted to talk about all this while. As a curator, right? Okay, let's start from this end. As Smart Shit, as a sneaker cleaning service, right? We are asked to come into people's houses to buy maybe do a little house wash, right? But then some people afford you the luxury of walking through their house, right? Not rather than just like, hey, he's the cleaner, you're outside there, do your thing. And they're like, yeah, yo, my guy, come in, let's start selecting the sneakers you want, you think are dirty, you want them clean. But what I've noticed most of these times is quote unquote new money, like new money black folk, African folk have made substantial amounts of money, right? When you walk into their houses, when you follow before, I mean, you saw a picture of Smart Shit, Chiva, the garage, you picture it. Ukafamba futhi ubona imwe picture Smart Shit vakagara nemwana wanyamata ufamba futhi ubona Smart Shit vakakutana Smart Shit opinde Smart Shit ingori Smart Shit dining Smart Shit kitchen Smart Shit ingori mapicture. The self-glorification for me is just like out of pocket, right? I'm like, those other spaces could have been used for people that buy the latest Mercedes, the latest Ferraris, right? Those spaces could have easily been have like artwork from a Zimbabwean artist. If rather they have an artwork, it's actually like a generic painting from a furniture selling company, right? Or a flea market, right? So I'm like, as a curator, you now as a curator, as a person who curates art, who's looking for the market for art, what needs to be done to bridge that gap, to bring in that new money through the door, or for you to get that eye into the door and tell the new money guys like, yo, you know you can invest $300 in an artwork like this. I'm not saying you sell today, but how do you bridge the gap?
I like how you use the word invest.
Yeah.
Because okay, fair and fine. I feel like all artwork is artwork and it has its own worth. From that 10 cents to like the 10 millions, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of what's going on in there. Right? So yeah, they may have portraits of themselves in the house. Yeah, it adds value to them. Maybe they wake up and then they feel some way, right? But then again, there's some artwork that is institutionally recognized. I will use that word, where it follows institutional theory and like collectible art, right? Where it may not necessarily be a portrait of a mother with carrying water. And, it can be like whatever the institution may consider. What people don't understand also is that artwork in itself is storage of wealth, right? And some people use it for tax, I can't say tax evasion, just call it tax lenience, right? Like I said, it's like an investment, right? Because you can get a $300 piece today, and then 5 years from now, it's worth something else, depending on like their relevance, right? It's now just a matter of like keeping an eye open as to not only the trends, but also like whose heart and what makes art, right? Because I mean, for some, there's some artwork where it just looks abstract, but it's carefully done that it is supposed to evoke a certain feeling. And then if you go to, let's say, the Lofty Gallery or First Floor Gallery or National Gallery, they tell you, okay, this piece is worth like 10 grand, right? And you're like, what? Just these blobs? But like, no. You're not paying just for the canvas and the blob. You're paying for the artist's intention, their journey, and their intent, like their like just what they're saying, right? So it goes back to like the 10 cents to 10 million. There's always like a narrative that great artworks speak of. Now that depends on the preference of the collector, right? Some collect sculptures, some collect paintings, some collect drawings, some collect photographs. It now just depends on, okay, what am I interested in? What is the market? Why am I collecting? Who's gonna collect? If I'm gonna buy this, who's gonna buy it, right? Some people buy art to flip it, some people buy art to keep it, some people buy art for both, to keep and then later on right? So I mean, you could have a whole wall of your portraits, cool, but it would be nice to have some investable artwork, because I'm not going to, let's say I get to the Smartjets house and I'm an art collector, I'm not going to want to buy Smartjets portrait. Like, why would I really, unless I really need it, right? Unless it's one of those striking image, right? But if it's one of those, okay, I got an artwork from Chakwaz or Gain, or maybe from Grace, it's one of those, okay, when I got this artwork it was like 5,000, now it's like 20,000. And when if you send art collector come, you can actually easily tell them now this artwork is not 20,000. And they will be, oh, okay, cool, 20,000, that's already, you've got like 400% on your investment, right? So like I said, you can have your portraits, you can have your fine artwork. Now it just depends on preference.
Nah, bro, like, thank you for shedding light on that. It's been a pleasure. Linking up and this is our first time like speaking like some sense,
Definitely. Always on some wild shit.
Always on some wild like, and just to close it off, like everything we do is maybe popular culture. When I saw Jay-Z's network being published in the Forbes, there was a section which said art collection. So like, just to buttress what you've been saying, ladies and gentlemen, you ought to have this up in the watches, the everything, and then it's Zimbabwe'S art. Trust me, you're the dawn, my nigga.
Yes, so I mean, this one is really going to some other collector. They gifted me a watch, so
you just
was like, but for just this podcast, because the art was from Jack's,
Nah, cool, man.
Cheers, man.
Bro.